The cumulative average time per unit is first initially for 30 engines it is 1000 hours. So 90% of 1000 is 900, again 90% of 900 is 810. One lot is equal to 1100. What is the learning effect? 80%. First initially it is 1000 hours. Again 80% of 1000 is 800. Again 80% of 800 is 640. Again 80% of 640 is 512. Now what is the total hours then? Hello dear students, welcome to this session of Basic Mathematics Revision class. I am Mr. Niranjan, Faculty Department of Mathematics, Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. Today in this session I am going to discuss regarding very simple and very easiest and important chapter, that is learning curves. So in this chapter we are going to get one 5 marks question. So only one 5 marker questions, essay type problem you will get from this, right? So in this we are going to expect one 5 marks question. So usually we are going to find the learning effect for a given problem. Either it may be 50%, 60%, 70, 80 and 90% learning effect. Usually we expect a question from 80% learning effect or a 90% learning effect, right? Now just let us move on to a problem, 5 marker questions. Right away move to a problem. An engineering company has 80% of learning effect. 80% of learning effect is given, spends 1000 hours to produce one lot of product. So to produce one lot of a product, they are going to produce 1000 hours. Then estimate the labor cost. We have to estimate the labor cost for producing how many lots? 8 lots. 8 lots of the production. If the labor cost, what is the labor cost? Rupees 40 per unit per hour. So the labor cost is rupees 40 per hour is the labor cost. And how many lots? 8 lots. One lot is equal to 1100. What is the learning effect? 80%. Very simple. For 80% or 60% or 90% or 70%, we are going to use the units as 1, 2, 4, 8, like that, right? So let us move on to the unit produced. Let us prepare a table. Unit produced, total output in lots, cumulative average time per unit, that is the number of hours, and the total hours. So here what is given? One unit, that is one lot will have 1000 hours. So let us assume let one lot is equal to 1000 hours. 1000 hours. So how many lots are there? So there are, estimate the labor cost to produce 8 lots. So there are 8 lots. So the unit produced will be 1, 1, 2 and 4. Total output in lots is 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8 lots. 1, 2, 4 and 8 lots. So then one lot is equal to 1000 hours. So initially one lot is equal to 1000 hours. Now what is the learning effect? They have given 80% is the learning effect. Calculate 80% of this. So 80% of learning effect. Now find out 80% of 1000. So this is equal to 80 into 1000 divided by 100. That's equal to 800. Right. Similarly find out 80% of 800. So that's equal to 80 into 800 divided by 100. This is equal to 640. 8 8s are 64, right? So 80% of 1000 is 800. 80% of 800 is 640. Similarly, find out 80% of 640. That is 80 into 640 divided by 100. What is this equal to? This is equal to 512. Right, 512. So calculate the cumulative average time per unit. That is, first initially it is 1000 hours. Again 80% of 1000 is 800. Again 80% of 800 is 640. Again 80% of 640 is 512. Now what is the total hours then? So multiply these two. Total output in lots and total number of hours. 1 into 1000 is 1000. Again 2 into 800. 800 into 8 is 16. 1600 hours. Again 4 into 640, 64 into 4, that is 2560, 2560, 2005, that is 4 into 640 is 2560, that is 64, 4, 8 is 64, 4 is 256, 2560. And the last one is 512 into 8, 512 into 8, that's equal to 4096. 4096. So, what is the total number of hours? So, the total number of hours is 4096 to produce how many lots? 8 lots. That's all. So, the total number of hours required to produce 8 lots is 496. Now, what is to calculate? Just calculate the cost to produce these 8 lots at rupees. What is the amount given? 40 per hour. So, therefore, now conclude this. Therefore, the total number of hours required to produce 8 lots is equal to 4096. Now, at the rate, what is the amount given? At the rate of rupees, what is the amount? 40 per hour, labor cost. 40 per hour. This is the labor cost. Right. So, therefore, the total amount is equal to 4096 into 40. That's equal to, what is this equal to? So, this is equal to 1,63,840. Right. So, therefore, the total labor cost at rupees 40 per hour is equal to 1,63,480 rupees. 1,63,840 is the total labor cost to produce 8 lots at the rate of 40 per hour. That's it. This is how we are going to solve this problem. Hope you followed. This is for 80% of a learning effect. Now move on to the second problem, very important problem. ABC, the name of a company is ABC. ABC company requires 1000 hours. How many hours? 1000 hours to produce first 30 engines. So, a company ABC requires 1000 hours to produce first 30 engines. Then, if the learning effect is 90%, the learning effect is equal to 90%. Find the total labor cost at rupees 20 per hour to produce total of 120 engines. So, what is the labor cost to produce 120 engines at rupees 20 per hour? That is to be determined. So, the learning effect is 90%. Now, consider one lot is equal to 30 engines. So, here one lot is equal to 30 engines. Right. That's it. Now, let us move on to this. Now, let us consider one lot is equal to 30 engines. Now, write on the table unit produced, total output in units, then cumulative average time per unit and total hours. Since here how many lots are there? So, that is one lot is equal to 30 engines. How many engines to be produced? 120 engines. That is 120 by 30 means 4. So, let us write down the values. Unit produced 1, 1 and 2. And the total output 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 2 is equal to 4. 4 lots, 4, that is here since there are 120 engine, 1 lot is equal to 30 means 3 4s are 12. So, therefore, the cumulative average time per unit. So, what is initially they have given 1 unit is equal to 30 engines. It requires how many hours? 1000 hours. So, initially it requires 1000 hours. Now, learning effect. What is the learning effect? 90%. So, 90% of 1000 is equal to 90 into 1000 divided by 100. So, this is equal to 900. Okay. 900. Again, find out 90% of 900. 90% of 900 is equal to 90 into 900 divided by 100. 9 9s are 81. 810. That's it. So therefore, the cumulative average time per unit is first initially for 30 engines it is 1000 hours. So 90% of 1000 is 900. Again 90% of 900 is 810. Now what is the total hours? So 1 into 100 is 100. Again 900 into 2. 9 2s are 18. That is 1800. Again 4 into 810. So that's equal to 8 4s are 32 and plus 40, 3240, right? That is 3240. So, therefore, the total number of hours required to produce 4 lots, the total number of hours required to produce 4 lots is how much? 3840, because each lot is equal to 30 engines. That means, so here it is nothing but 120 engines, right? So, the total number of hours required to produce 120 engine is 3240. That's it. So therefore, the total number of hours required to produce 4 lots. 4 lots means 120 engines. Is how many hours? 3240. Now what is the cost? So therefore the cost at rupees, what is the cost? Rupees 20 per hour. Rupees 20 per hour. So is equal to 3240 into 20. So 3240 into 20, 64,800. That's it. Okay. So concluded. Therefore, the total cost required to produce 4 lots, that is 120 engines, is equal to rupees 64,800 at 20 per hour. Rupees 20 per hour. That's it. This is how we are going to solve this problem. Hope you followed. Okay. Now, similarly, move on to one more problem. What is the problem given? This is also an important. XYZ. XYZ company supplies water tanks to the government. The first water tank takes 20,000 labor hours. It will take 20,000 labor hours. The government auditor suggests that there should be a 90% learning effect rate. The management expects an order of 8 water tanks. How many water tanks? 8 water tanks in the next year. What will be the labor cost if the company will incur at the rate of rupees 20 per hour? Same as that of the previous problem. So, XYZ company will supply water tanks to a government. The first water tanks requires how many labor hours? 20,000 labor hours. Then the government auditor suggests that there should be a 90% learning effect. So the learning effect is 90%. 90% learning effect, right? Learning effect. The management expects 8 water tanks in the next year. What will be the labor cost? At the rate of 20 per hour. So labor cost is rupees 20 per hour. These are the given condition. Right. Now, just as usual, write unit produced, total output in units, cumulative average time per unit, that is hours, and the total hours. Right. So what is given initially? 1 unit is equal to 20,000 hours. Right. So write down. So how many units? That is 8 water tanks. So here, so the unit produced is 1, 1, 2, 4. 1, 1, 2, 4. Total outputs, 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8. So 8 water tanks, 8 water tanks, right, 8 water tanks. Now, cumulative average time per unit hours. So 1 unit requires how many hours? 20,000. Initially it requires 20,000 hours for 1 unit. Now what is the learning effect? The learning effect is 90%. 90% is the learning effect. Now 90% of 20,000 is equal to 90 into 20,000 divided by 100. That's equal to 18,000. So 90% of 20,000 is 18,000. Again 90% of 18,000, that is 90 into 18,000 divided by 100. So 18,000 into 90 divided by 100, that is 90% of 18,000 is equal to 16,200. 16,200, right? Now similarly 90% of 16,200 is equal to 90 into 16,200 divided by 100. So 90% of 16,200 is equal to 14,580. 14,580. So the cumulative average time per unit is equal to, this is in terms of hours. First initially it is 20,000 hours. 90% of 20,000 is 18,000. Again 90% of 18,000 is 16,200. Again 80% of 16,200 is 14,580. Right. Now multiply this. Total time is equal to, just multiply total output units into cumulative average time. So 1 into 20,000 is 20,000. Again 18,000 into 2, 18 to 36, 36,000, 36,000. Again 4 into 16,200, 16,200 into 4, that is 16 4s are 64, 4 2s are 64,800, 64,800, 13 2s are 64, and again 4 2s are 8, 64,800, and the last 8 into 14,580. So that is 1,16,000, 1,16,640. Right. So therefore, what do you say? So therefore, the total number of hours required to produce 8 water tanks. So the total number of time required to produce 8 water tanks is 1,16,640 hours. So therefore, the total number of hours required to produce 8 water tanks is equal to how much? 1,16,640 hours. Now the cost, therefore the cost at rupees 20 per hour, rupees 20 per hour. So therefore the total cost that the company will incur at rupees 20 per hour is equal to 1,16,640 into 20, that's equal to 23,32,800. So therefore the total cost that the company will incur is rupees 23,32,800 is the total amount to produce 8 water tanks at the rate of 20 per hour. Right. So this is how we are going to solve this problem. So these are few examples for 80% learning effect and 90% learning effect. So usually you may expect a question like 80%, 90% or the 70% learning effect problems for 5 marks. Hope you followed. So that's all regarding today's session. Let us meet with different concept in the next session. Thank you. Thank you very much.